What if I told you that there's one simple change that you can make from today that guarantees that you never have a bad performance ever again? Sounds too good to be true, right? But here's the catch. Bad performances don't just happen because you lose, miss a target, or fail to finish first. They happen because of your perceptions. And these can sabotage you long before the event even starts. If you're new here, I'm Sam, a mental performance coach for pro athletes. And today I'm going to show you how to break free from the trap of unrealistic expectations that can keep you stuck and make one undesirable performance turn into a performance run that can last weeks or even an entire season. By the end of this video, you'll know how to walk into any performance with confidence and know how to come away with a win in one way or another. So let's get started. Right, so to make sure you never have a bad performance again, we need to talk about making a cake. Bear with me here for a second. So look, when you're baking a cake, you've got a picture in your head of this perfect, beautifully decorated cake, flawless on the outside and delicious on the inside. But what if something goes wrong? Maybe it doesn't rise as much as you wanted, or the frosting doesn't quite look like the picture.
Hell no, man.
Does that mean the cake's a failure? Well, not really, because even if it doesn't look exactly like you'd imagined, it's still edible, it's still sweet, and still something you can enjoy. Now, what if I told you that you can approach your athletic performances the same way? That you can stop aiming for that one perfect result that leads to frustration when it doesn't go to plan. Instead, you can create layers of success so that no matter what happens, you can still come away with something positive. So how do you bake that cake of athletic success, even when things don't go perfectly? Well, it all comes down to how you set your goals. Here's where it gets interesting. Most athletes only ever set one goal, the big flashy one. You know, the I have to win or I need to hit a personal best goal. But what happens when you don't reach that exact target? Well, you often end up feeling like you failed entirely. And this really is such a stupid approach to take because you know that in sport, there are so many different things that are outside of your control that determine the outcome of a performance. You might be in peak physical shape to run a 100 meters personal best, but on the day of the race, there are insane headwinds that make you feel like you're running backwards, or you have this deep feeling that you're going to score a hat trick in today's football game. But then one of your teammates gets sent off 10 minutes into the game and your coach then sacrifices you and subs you off before you've even had a single shot on target. And in situations like this, because you've only set one huge best case scenario goal, the second anything happens to prevent you from achieving it, even if ever so slightly, you then think of yourself as a failure and then completely get bogged down and trapped in a negative spiral that ruins future performances because your confidence takes a massive hit. So that's where A, B, and C goals come in. Think of it as setting yourself up with 3 layers of success. Your A goal is the dream scenario, the best possible outcome, whereas your B goal is still a strong result, maybe not perfect, but something you'd still be proud of, and your C goal is the minimum acceptable outcome. It's like your safety net, making sure that no matter what happens, you walk away with a feeling of a sense of progress, even if it's a tiny, tiny amount. Now let's dive deeper into why this approach is so powerful and why you should start implementing it today. You see, this concept of layered goals is already quite common in sports like track and field, and especially in other events like marathon running. Runners often understand that their performance can be influenced by a variety of factors: weather conditions, course elevation, fatigue levels, and so much more. And that's why you'll often hear them talking about their target times in a flexible way. They might aim for a specific personal best, which is their A goal, but they'll then also be content with a strong finish, even if it's not their personal best, which is their B goal. And they know they can still take pride in just finishing the race, which would be their C goal. This approach helps them remain motivated and focused regardless of how the race actually unfolds. However, many athletes across different sports fail to adopt this mindset. They get fixated on that one big shiny goal, the win, the medal, the record, and anything else feels like a monumental failure. But this lack of goal flexibility can create a mountain of pressure and anxiety, because when that A goal is out of reach, it can feel like a whole performance was wasted, leading to frustration, discouragement, and sometimes even giving up mid-performance. So what are some specific problems that arise when you don't use this method? Well, first off, you risk developing a fragile mindset. If you're only measuring success against that one high standard, any minor setback or change in circumstances can lead to feelings of worthlessness. This can crush your confidence, making it increasingly difficult to perform well in future competitions and performances. Additionally, without those B and C goals, you might miss out on recognizing and celebrating your progress. You could have had a strong performance, maybe even a personal best in some aspects, but if it didn't translate into a win, you might dismiss it entirely. This can lead to a lack of motivation over time as you start to believe that anything short of perfection is simply not good enough. Lastly, not having this range of goals can trap you in a cycle of negativity. Each disappointing performance reinforces the belief that you're not quite capable, and this mindset becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Instead of learning from each experience, you might start to fear competing altogether, believing that anything less than your absolute best means that you failed. In short, without A, B, and C goals, you're setting yourself up for massive disappointment, and you're also stalling your growth as an athlete. Instead, it's time to embrace flexibility and build a sustainable, resilient mindset that allows you to thrive regardless of the outcome. So now that we understand the importance of having flexible goals, let's actually dive into how you can set successful A, B, and C goals using a simple step-by-step system that any athlete can use, no matter the sport. So step one is obviously define your A goal. Start by imagining your ultimate success. This is your A goal, the big audacious target that you aspire to achieve. Whether it's winning a championship, hitting a personal best, or executing a flawless performance, write it down clearly. And it is fine to be ambitious here, even picking something that you may only have a 50% chance of reaching. As an athlete, you want to push your boundaries. It should be a goal that makes you slightly uncomfortable, but your A goal should also give you a clear vision to strive for. And then after that, step two is to establish your B goal. So for this one, think about a realistic yet strong outcome that you'd still be satisfied with, even if it's not quite your best. This is your B goal. It could be finishing in the top 3, completing a race under a certain time, or grabbing an assist instead of scoring a goal. There are so many different options here, so really think about your sport, your position, and even the level that you're currently competing at. And I'll also say at this point, it doesn't have to be something that would make you absolutely delighted, but it just has to be something that can leave you feeling like you've put in a solid effort, that you showed up and still put in a decent shift or put on a solid display. Because what the B goal provides you with is a fallback plan that can still offer a sense of accomplishment, even if you only feel like this a week or two after a performance, and once it's no longer still raw in terms of the disappointment at not reaching the A goal. I like to think of B goals as belated goals because it can actually take a while to get to a point where accomplishing it gives you some form of satisfaction. For example, it's the marathon runner who may have finished 5 minutes off her personal best, but once the dust has settled, she realized that she still put in a good shift despite being sick for a couple of weeks during a pivotal part of the training block. So that's why these goals are so important, even if we're not thrilled to reach them in the moment. And then lastly, your final step is creating your C goal. This should be your minimum acceptable outcome, something that ensures you leave the competition feeling like you made progress, regardless of external factors. It could be as simple as finishing a race or giving your best effort throughout, even if you've had a shocker for the most part. And what the C goal really is a safety net. It protects your confidence by ensuring that no matter what happens, you can walk away with your head still held high. It allows you to bounce back the next week because you can just say, I gave it a good go, but it wasn't my day today. And look, it's not about making excuses here. It's just about growing more comfortable with the fact that in sport, sometimes just showing up and trying was enough for that day. And actually, that's all you could have done. And again, it's not about being happy with something pretty mediocre, but it really is this safety net that catches you before you fall into a deep spiral of self-loathing, insecurity, and deep frustration. You can actually still be a little pissed off with yourself for only reaching the C goal, but it's still better than nothing. And it can act also as a springboard to get you back to the grind straight away. So by establishing A, B, and C goals, you're not just giving yourself a framework for success, you're also creating a healthier mindset that allows you to thrive in your sport over the long term. Every athlete, regardless of how competitive they are, will face unpredictable challenges that can affect their performance. So embracing this flexible goal setting method can reduce the emotional roller coaster that often accompanies competition. Remember, success isn't just about achieving the top goal. It's about learning, growing, and enjoying the process. By adopting this mindset, you'll not only improve your performance, but also enhance your overall experience as an athlete. However, this mindset takes a lot of work to build, but to help you build it quicker, you should watch this video next.